Well, I think that a lot of my art has a real community aspect. I'm gonna have at least one piece in the show that is inviting and asking for folks to add and take from. And also, I hope that I have a lot of stories to tell, and I hope that people see some stories and have and think, wow, it seems like Esther really kind of had an idea and made it happen and wasn't too focused on the perfection. I can still see that they did not erase all the pencil lines on this drawing. And I hope people see the joy that I made in my art and my lack of perfectionism, and I hope it makes people feel like they can make whatever they want to. Well, I wrote in my application for this thing that I make art on themes of joy, longing, and belonging, and that resonated. I think that feels true. I would say that I make art much more about myself than I make it for others, and for that reason, I think it is really more of a earnest depiction of whatever I'm feeling. But the themes, I would say, of my life are often around missing and longing, but also the joy of togetherness. So I think those are the two themes that push themselves through in my art most commonly. I am one of the most emotional people that I've ever met. I'm a Cancer, for those interested. And I think that art as a piece of my life really has always started as a way to help me process through the intense things I feel in my day. But as time has passed, I think you can see when I've had a hard day in the stuff that I draw, and often nature is a huge influence of my work, as it is an influence of my life. I think everyone who lives around here can agree we live in a paradise, and we also always say New England is about suffering. So, you know, the backdrop of my life, the trees and the hills and the rivers, definitely are the backdrops of all of my artwork as well. I would also say I dabble a lot in the absurd and kind of the fairy taleization of reality, where often I'm taking an interaction or a feeling or a scene, and kind of by the time I'm done, it ends up being kind of a more fantastical world building, built out type thing. My favorite kind of art, well, drawing just gets to come with me everywhere I go. So for that, I appreciate it. I really enjoy just I've learned that I can journal when I stop calling it a journal and start calling it a sketchbook. So I like to bring that with me where I go and fill my time, and I often end up being able to go back and take drawings that I've made in my journal, or just little sketches, places that stick with me and then get to be beefed up into larger pieces. I love to oil paint, although it's a little bit harder to, I always think about rags spontaneously combusting and my landlord, so it makes me nervous. But I seasonally oil paint when I can do it outside. But I have been experimenting with I love to watercolor. I have been doing some acrylic painting, but also with my large scale cranky that I'll be showing is a mixture of just Sharpie pencil and tempera and acrylic paint, like from the dollar store. Shake it up, add some, throw some stuff in there. I definitely have a value of making art out of trash. Is one of the values, especially of our production company. I think it's the most satisfying thing in the world to find stuff on the side of the road that gets turned into something beautiful. And also, art materials are so expensive, and it's so fun often when I get an idea, I'm like, I will not wait to go to Walmart or, and there's really not very many stores around here that have much of anything. So if you can hit the cardboard pile on your porch, you get to have everything you want right in front of you. I've done a lot of paper mache. This frame of overgrown sea things that is mostly paper mache with some egg carton barnacles, some paint. and then seaweed and different things I've collected. That's pretty representative of a lot of the work that I do. I draw about the things that are meaningful to me, and often those things have to do with my hands being in the ground, my large-scale cranky that won't be, the story itself won't exactly be shown, although I do think I'll have a printout of the whole story if viewers would like to piece through it. But it's about a little girl who climbs a tree because she wants to get away and hopes to turn into a bird. And that story is about particularly a tree on the Mill River. If anyone knows the Mill River path, there's a little beach and a clearing and a tree that hangs over the river with 3 big branches on the bottom that I climb a tree and you go, oh God, I really don't want to come down. And also, I would say my job influences my work a lot, both in terms of watching things grow and die, but also I spend a lot of my days, I work with folks with a variety of disabilities and some of the most vulnerable people in some of the most intense situations, and it really puts things in perspective, but also keeps me centered on that community and connection. Well, this show is going to give a little bit of an expansive look at the different visual art that comes together for a lot of the shows that I make, and we'll have some of the visual components of multimedia art that I've done. I mean, I think if you look across the things, you'll see smiling faces, you'll see connection, you'll see happiness, you'll see silliness, but you'll also see loneliness, and I would say, yeah, half of my art is about fullness and half of my art is about emptiness. So you might see some emptiness, you might see some fullness. This is my first show. Yes, definitely my first solo gallery show. But honestly, I'm proud of the work that I do, and I know that I have found Greenfield to be an extremely loving and excited audience in almost every way. We pull off silly things walking down Greenfield's main street every day. So I can't imagine that I'm picturing being received with love, and I bet you it's gonna happen. So I'm not too nervous. Well, I'm just really excited to see kind of all of my work from across years and across genres and across projects together. I think it's fun, even just as a self-exercise, to kind of comb through my work and put together things that I'm proud of and see the ways that the work that I'm doing now is so related to the work I was doing a while ago, even if they look a little bit different. It's funny to see the parallels. And also just, as I said earlier, I'm obsessed with how I feel, and doing a little bit of a retrospective on my artistic life is honestly fruitful for me and makes me excited for all the next things I'm gonna make. I love GCTV. I mean, I think both I have dear friends and connections who are involved here, but also it's a community-oriented space that's about enabling folks from any walk of life to create anything that they want. And I am by no means a videologist. I mostly, when I touch electronic things, they tend to break. But if there's this group of people who have those skills, who get to be here and provide them to the community, this is such a place where folks can gather, and folks in need of somewhere to go and something to do get to come and make something. And any place that is somewhere that folks can come and say, I have an idea, will you help me make it? And the answer is always yes, is a place that I want my art. Everybody should come and see my show. We're having an opening night with some snacks and some party vibes on July 25th from 5 to 7. And it will be up from July through September.